Hello and welcome to Seeds of Literacy Math Club Review. This is the second in a series of videos on our trail mix project that we're working on. And if you haven't watched video number 1, I would ask that you do that now, and you'll find the link for that in the description of this video. There also is a video 1A, and in that we talk about how to do the long division for some of the problems in video 1. So watch those first, and if you're ready for it, let's get working on today's episode. I'll start by going over some of the data that we've collected already and some of the calculations that we've made, just to refresh your memory. So if you look at our ingredients conversion chart, remember that we want to end up with the total number of ounces of each ingredient that we need so that we can buy that at the store before we put our recipe together. So let's see what we've done already. So for each of these ingredients, we've looked at a package of them, and these were different size packages that we had that we bought from the store. And then we measured in each of those packages how many cups were in each package for each of these ingredients. And then knowing that, you'll remember that we figured out how many ounces were in each cup of each ingredient. And we did that by dividing the ounces by the number of cups. So we looked at, for example, for cranberries, we found that it was 5 divided by 1, or 1 into 5 if you like to say it that way. And we found that 1 cup weighed 5 ounces. For some of these others, that was an easy one because that was just a divide by 1. For these other ones though, we did the long division and we figured out what the ounces were per each cup. Then we put together in a big bowl, we mixed a bunch of ingredients together until the blend looked like it was just about right. And when we did that, we found that we had put this amount of cups of each ingredient in that bowl. But that bowl had too much in there for just one serving. And we figured out that we probably had about 6 servings in that bowl. So what we needed to do is figure out how much of each ingredient is in 1 serving. So since these were the measurements for 6 servings, we had to take each of these and divide by 6 to break it into 6 equal parts for 1 serving size. So this is what we found for our 1 serving size, for how many cups were needed. Now we have almost all the information that we need to buy, except we need to take that number of cups in 1 serving and multiply it by 30, since we want to serve 30 people. So when we do that, we found all of these numbers. So these are the number of cups that we need of each ingredient to serve the entire class when we mix them all together. And you'll see that we're missing some information, and we'll calculate that next. And then in this column, since we have to buy things by ounces rather than cups, we have to have a way to convert cups into ounces. And we've done that over here. We said that this is the number of ounces that every cup is for every one of these ingredients. So if we take ounces per cup and multiply it by the number of cups, then we can figure out how much that we need in the weight of each of these ingredients for the whole class. So that's what this column is. And you'll see we're missing a number there. So let's figure out how many cups that we need for the class of rice checks. So here we see that each serving is 0.25 cups, or another way to say that would be a quarter of a cup. And we know that we need 30 servings, so that would be 0.25 times 30. So let's do that. So we have 0.25 times 30. And for that, we see that 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Then we go down to the next one. And since we're going down to the next row, we're going to start by putting a 0 there. And then we see 5 times 3, and that's 15. Put the 5 there, 1 there. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. We'll do those. We'll add these. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. And then we'll just bring that 7 down. And we're almost done, but we have to figure out where to put the decimal point. So since there are 2 decimal places up here, 1, 2, we know that we need to move this over 2. 1, 2. So we need, for the class, 7.50, or we can shorten that and just say 7.5 cups of rice checks. So we'll write that up in here. But now we need to find out what weight of rice checks that is, since that's how we buy the packages, by weight. So remember that I said that we need 7.5 cups, but each cup weighs 1.1 ounces. So to figure out the weight, we would want to do 1.1, since 1 cup weighs 1.1, but since we have 7.5 cups, we want 1.1 times 7.5. So let's do that. 7.5, 1.1. Put the times there. Okay, so 1 times 5, and that would be 5. 1 times 7, and that would be 7. Now we go to the next one, so we go down a row. We know that we need to add 1 0 for that second row there. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. So we have 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 7 plus 1 is 8. So we know that we need 8.25 ounces. And since we've been putting these to just 1 decimal place, we'll want to round this to just 1 decimal place. So since its neighbor on this side is 5 or greater, since it's 5, we know that we need to round this one up by 1. If it was 0 to 4, we would keep it at 2. So since we're rounding up, we'll make it 8.3. And we'll put the 8.3 in here. Okay, now let me show you the next chart. And this is where we're comparing prices from the different stores. So you can see I've already written the 8.3 in for the rice checks, because that's how many ounces that we know that we need to feed the class. So let's look at each one of these columns. So down this side we have a number of ingredients. So each row is a different ingredient, and notice that there's 3 of each ingredient down here, and that's because this is information from different stores. So over on this side, it shows the stores where these were the prices from. This column is all of the totals that we know in weight that we need to serve the entire class. And we got that from this column. And notice also that we've added snack bags down here because we need to buy those too. So we want to do some comparison prices of those. So let's look at the columns. So this is the total that we need. For the prices that we got, these were the sizes of the packages that we used. So in some cases, a store had a 5-ounce package. In some cases, a store might have had a 24-ounce package. So these are all different sizes of packages that these ingredients came in. Based on the amount that we need and the size of the package, we can figure out how many packages we need. And stores, since you can't take a package and cut it up into pieces, what we'll end up doing later is rounding all of these up to, so 2.5, we would actually need 3 packages since we can't buy 2.5 packages. So for these package sizes, this was the price. So this is basically the price on the price tag for each of these package sizes at these stores. And if we take that, the number of packages that we need, and multiply it by the price per package, so in this case, for a 24-ounce cranberries package, we know that we needed 1 package. It was $5.99, so the cost that we would pay would be $5.99 because we'd buy 1 package. Also, we can look at the price per ounce, because it's not all just the cost of the item. You have to know how much you're getting for that cost. So this is the value, the price per ounce. So with these, looking at these, this will help us to find which store might offer the best value for our buy. And what we'll end up doing on Monday, when we meet again, is we'll put together a table. And we'll look for each of these ingredients. We'll pick which one of the stores had the best value, and then we'll put the information across for that. Some of these columns you've seen before, and we'll fill these in. We'll know how many ounces of each that we need, and once we've figured out which is the best store to use, we'll write the package size that we want to buy at that store, how many of those packages we need, what it's going to, what the price tag was for that, how much it's going to cost us, and just to remind us, we'll put the value here, the price per ounce. But if we look at the total cost and we add all of those up and get to the bottom, then we know how much it's going to cost us to buy the ingredients for the entire class of 30. So I hope that helps, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.